Hello there guys, what is going on? Son of Chelsea back here again for another video, and as you can see I've got another guest. Of course, the game this Sunday against Manchester City in the FA Cup, so I thought I'd get someone who knows very much about Manchester City on to discuss Sunday's game. Got Josh here from ReadManCity. How you doing, mate?
Doing good, thanks. Thanks for having me on.
So I think I just want to jump into it straight away because the news pretty much that came out, I think it was on deadline day, pretty much stole deadline day when the news came out. Pep Guardiola, there's been so much debate since the news that has come out. The question I want to pose to you is, do you feel Pep Guardiola will now help City dominate English football?
Yeah, I think it's been on the cards for a while. It's been made quite public that he's got a good relationship with two of our guys at the club, Cheeky, Begarystein, Ferran Soriano, who he's worked with at Barcelona, he's still in close contact with. So there was always a suspicion that it would happen, but I still think that it threw a few City fans off the way it did happen, with Pellegrini literally just announcing it on a press conference in deadline day, when we thought it was in for a quiet day. But you know, I think he's always been the man that I think can take us to the next level. I mean, they brought Pellegrini in to sort of get us back going again. I think the dressing room had lost quite a bit since when Mancini was sacked. Pellegrini's had his fair share of problems, but he has delivered 2 trophies. But definitely Guardiola is the man that they want to dominate. They've not really grasped European football yet. We've not sort of made ourselves a powerhouse or anything like that. We're still coming to grips with it. So he is the man. I mean, he can attract all sorts of players just because players want to work with him, they want to learn from him. And he can take not only players, but he can also take the club to new heights. So City fans are quite rightly excited about his appointment and see where it can take us.
I kind of relate to when Jose was at Chelsea. I think a massive part of why players wanted to come to Chelsea, like say a Cesc Fabregas, was because of Jose Mourinho, and I think Guardiola could do the same, to say a Pellegrini couldn't. And one thing I want to ask you about like European football, because of course you've got the Champions League, one of the best chances you've had to get to progress past the round of 16 than you've had in recent years, finishing top of the group. You had it earlier on this season, I think Juventus, when you started booing the Champions League anthem.
Yeah.
And we've seen, just because I know Noel Gallagher, he was talking, I think he had an interview with Gary Neville where he was like, he'd rather win the Premier League over the Champions League. Is there sort of a despondency to the Champions League? Because from a Chelsea fan's perspective, for me, there's nothing kind of bigger and better. But what is it about kind of City and this relationship with the Champions League? Is it something to do with maybe, I don't know, ticket prices? Is it something to do with the way UEFA run things? I'm still a little bit, because it seems to be this sort of a lack of connection, and maybe that has led to you not doing as well in the Champions League. Do you want to kind of elaborate on that?
Yeah, I think it's a few components really. Like I said before, we've not really connected with the competition. It's weird because it is the biggest prize in European football. You know, all the elite clubs are in there. You get to mix it with the likes of Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern Munich.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's the booing stuff was mainly because of sort of UEFA's handling of certain situations with the racism stuff that Toure had in Russia, and the fact that City fans were punished for it unfairly. Yeah. So yeah, but also I think a few factors in terms of on the pitch, because the Champions League, we've not, bar maybe a couple of performances, we've not really got going. And I think of Roma last season in one of the, I think it was a penultimate group game, maybe it was a final group game. That was really sort of our coming of age. But prior to that, we've been sort of outplayed very easily. Our tactics have been quite poor. We've been exploited easily. Like, we've been dominated by the likes of Dortmund. Teams like Ajax have, you know, outperformed us. I think most City fans, like you said about Noel Gallagher before, would rather win the Premier League or the league title because it's sort of a 38-game thing. But I mean, there's no bigger prize than the Champions League, and I'm hoping that with Guardiola we'll be better prepared for next season, and we can have a real good go at it. Because I mean, nights like you had in Munich when Drogba put that penalty in, I mean, we want something like that. Obviously we had the Aguero moment, but I mean, I think the next step is the Champions League, and hopefully we can really break into it and have a good stab at it.
Yeah, I think absolutely for a team like City, I mean, you're always going to have the thing with Manchester United, the competing with Manchester United,
Yeah,
who I've said in the past, I personally think are the biggest club in this country. I think they're right up there, just how big they are. I mean, down south we have a lot of Manchester United fans, and
yeah,
you can use that to poke fun at Manchester United. But I think it's so you're always going to have that sort of issue. But one thing I've noticed with Manchester City, I think Pep Guardiola is going to massively kind of positively impact that. I think for me, if Manchester City, it was a bit like when Chelsea won the Champions League, it helped us so much in terms of, unfortunately, the way modern football is now, the marketing, kind of the brand, as they like to call it, and just being more of a, you're seen as when you win that competition, you're seen as one of the elite kind of European clubs. You're seen as more of a serious threat in Europe. And I think for City, I think, as you would see it, like Pep Guardiola can come in. I think you've got a better youth system now. It seems to be producing better players. And I think in years to come, the system you've got over there is amazing. And I was speaking to someone who's a Manchester United fan. And he was saying, like, nowadays, like in the past, all of the good young players around Manchester would want to go to Manchester United. Like, they want to go get in the academy. But now it seems it's changed so pretty much as Manchester City. Hello there guys, what is going on? Son of Chelsea back here again for another video. And it's time for my Q&A. Thank you guys for all of your questions that you submitted in the comments to that video that I left last week. Apologies to those that I couldn't read out, but right here, let's get straight into it.